Hello everyone, I hope you've been having a great time so far at App Innovation. My name is Clémence Dumas, I'm a Senior Product Marketing Manager at Odaseva, and today I'll be speaking with François Lopito, who is in charge of our product and platforms. Hello François.
Hello Clémence, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. So today we'll be talking about data platform strategy and the top 3 reasons why some companies choose to deploy it. So first things first, what do these global industry leaders, so for like Schneider Electric, Accor, or Capgemini, have in common, except for the fact that they are Odaseva users? Well, they understood that at enterprise scale, Salesforce is different, and so is Salesforce data. Why is that? Well, enterprise companies have to deal with a long list of factors that make data management harder. It could be complex data models with circular references or 30-level relationships between records. You also have large data volumes that can really complexify performance and maintenance. So you might be thinking about the endless spinning wheels for your users when they're pulling out records. It's also the fact that as they're working in different countries, they also have different regulatory and regulations they have to take into account. So CCPA might be the most famous one, but you also have China that in September released its new data data act. So if you are working in such a company, in a global company, some of these challenges might be familiar to you, and you might also be thinking of 1,000 more. But one thing that they also have in common that is also really important for you is that Salesforce data is important at an enterprise scale, but for everybody. And the reason why is that more and more critical processes are running into the platform. It used to be only the sales, but now it's also the HR, the marketing, and other business business units that are using Salesforce and the platform. It means that you're going to have on the platform your customer and partner relationships. You're going to have also all your history, past, present, and future, that is stored and lives on the platform. So it's also thanks to Salesforce and the data that you are going to put in it that you are going to build trust with your customers. And Salesforce is really becoming a key system in enterprise companies. Now, this company, they are starting to be really familiar with these requirements, these changes, obviously. And this is why they are starting to build some processes to take care of them. First, they will want to protect the data so that the business never stops. I'm thinking about backup and restoration of the data in case of data loss, or archiving for performance. And thanks to App Exchange partners, you can do that, obviously. Then with your legal teams, you might try to take into account the data lifecycle and work to really know when you need the data and when you need to take it out or not start not using it anymore. Data have an expiration date, and it's important that it is only used when necessary. And then for the most advanced among you, you will start to want to move the data into sandboxes or outside of the platform, so you can really use it to drive the best new ideas for development, DevOps, but also for business intelligence. And all of these operations are really built to maximize the value of the data. But if you look closely, if you think about the companies that I mentioned at the beginning of the session, there is really one thing that they have in common. It's the fact that they are thinking about data and how to manage data really differently. So like I said, you can take all of these requirements, these challenges, one at a time. And it's great because that way you can leverage the Salesforce ecosystems and all the apps and partners that are available on the platform. So we're very lucky, but because there is actually a ton of them. But if you do that, then it means that you never take a macro view of the data. You will only take little bits of the data problems and requirements. The leaders, the one that adopt a platform strategy, they're in full control of their data. They're really thinking about the ownership of the data and the data lifecycle from end to end, thanks to a comprehensive set of tools that are really optimized to work together. And this is why, to answer that need and this way of thinking of data as a whole, we built the first enterprise data platform for the Salesforce enterprise. And it really takes into account the 3 key data management requirements and capabilities that enterprises are looking for. So data protection, data privacy, and data agility, all of this in a single set of tools that are unified by powerful data analytics and fully secured. So now that we've seen what is a data platform strategy and where the company that are implementing it, it's time for François Lopiteau, our Chief Product Officer, to really explain to us why it matters and why such a strategy is needed, and that a data platform strategy could be the right solution for the Salesforce enterprise.
Thank you very much, Clémence. So I think that it's really clear that large enterprise and enterprise in general on Salesforce have all this data challenge, right? Data is really important, as Clémence mentioned, but at the same time, you need to do a lot of treatment. You need to be able to protect the data, to be compliant with regulation, but also be agile with your data, with your Salesforce data, because they are the fuel of your company. So at Odaseva, we have created a platform because we think it's the best solution to solve all these problems. Now I'm going to explain why there is 3 reasons why we think that you need to have a platform. The reason number 1 is what we think is app don't scale. And why is that? So if you go on App Exchange, you have zillion of apps, which is really great. You will find a specific app for every need that you have. But when we start to speak about data management, about data problems, it's really hard to cherry pick one or another, because you really need to have a centralized strategy. You need to be able to tailor this app to your organizations. And this is where it's hard. Usually apps are really for one specific need, but you need to have a platform, exhaustive platform, where you can do all your data management processes, and you can especially customize it to match your company and your challenges. The other reason why apps don't scale is because at the core here, we are really speaking about your Salesforce data, and you need to do treatment on top of this Salesforce data. And so when you want to be able to serve multiple purposes, if you start to address and go to each provider for each use cases, it's not really maintainable. So here in this case, what you need to do with your data. You want to be able to back up your data. You want to be able to archive it, obsolete data. You want to be able to send it to Sandbox to help your developers to develop faster. You may want to send it to your data lake for AI and BI needs. You also may want to keep your own copy of your data in on-premise capabilities. And so here, the paradigm is really actually like Salesforce. Salesforce has created a platform. On top of this platform, they have created Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, and the value of Salesforce, one reason why they are so successful is because this platform allows customers to customize it really to their business processes, but also you can exchange data between Sales Cloud and Service Cloud. And the way that we see it for Odaseva is the same. You have one platform that allows you to manage all your data, and then you have use cases on top of it, and you can exchange data between use cases. So that's why the app concept has some limitation, and that's why we think that the platform is really important. The reason number 2 is large data volume make everything harder. And at core, I'm a developer. I was a developer before, And I remember every time, you create a nice demo, you create a nice development, you play it with 1 record, 2 records, and it plays super well. It's working like amazingly well. And then you start to have billion and billion of records, and your product that you just developed is not working anymore. So large data volume is really making everything complex. And why is that? So there is 4 main reasons that we see it. First is because when you have large data volume, usually you have a very complex data model, a Salesforce data model, which means you have objects, multiple of objects with very complex relationship hierarchy. So you need, when you manage your data, to be able to understand this hierarchy of objects, be able to bring all the objects that belong together with complex relationship. And this is not easy. Then you have possibly billion of records. And to be able, again, to manage this data, you will have to extract them, modify them, re-upload them maybe. So you need to be able to have a system that go and like embrace the API limitations, embrace the governor limit, that you are not blocked by this limit put in place by Salesforce to protect the service. And that's really critical and important. Then you have not just Salesforce in your company. You have your ERP system, you have your HR system, and all these systems need to connect to Salesforce. They need to be able to interact with Salesforce, which means like when you need to do your data treatment, it's not like you have the full weekend or every day of the week available. Usually you have very specific windows of time where you can do this treatment, because the rest is taken by other systems. So your system needs to be very fast to be able to do all the treatment in short amount of time. Finally, usually also your business is worldwide, which means that you need to be able to respect regulation across the world. So you need a solution that allows you, at the same time that they manage your data, to respect the privacy challenge and the regulations. So that's why large data volume make things complex. And just to take an example, right? If you don't have a system that understands that and is not fast enough, it's really like taking pictures with your kid, for example. The latest one is going to move when you're going to take the pictures, and when it's moving, the picture is not going to be great, right? It's going to be blurry. And it's the same with your Salesforce data. When you do a backup, people at the same time still create records. So if you are not fast enough, your backup is not going to be restorable, because you are going to have inconsistency because you took too long to create this backup. So large data volume is really important, and it's not like a second thought. It's something that need to be think about when you create a platform. And this is really what has been done at Odaseva. Now, the third reason, data management demand innovations. Why is that? There is 2 main aspects to it. There is one which is around, again, regulations. Regulation involve a lot. But the second one is also really about be able to be agile with your data. So of course you have new regulations, but also you need to be able to have the right retention policy for your Salesforce data. You need to be able to also empower your developers to be able to be efficient on Salesforce. Then you need to be able to fuel your data, your AI analytics data lake. So there is a lot of different processes, and so it's not like a platform that is fixed in the time, but it's a platform really that need to be able to provide you innovation, new capabilities that match the new demand of the world. Like Snowflake was not there 5 years ago, and now it's pretty common. So again, you need to be able to address the new things around the data and the regulations. And here, as an example also, you can see there is plenty and much more now data regulation per country. And as mentioned, Clémence, for example, China just released one in 1st of September. So you need to have a platform that can follow with you, that can be able to continue and help you to address the challenges that you have around the management of data inside Salesforce. And so that's why at Odaseva, we are creating such platform, because we really think that, because of these 3 reasons, you need to adopt a platform. The app don't scale, you want to have something customizable. The reason 2, the large data volume, so you need to be able to have something that is made for large data volume, that has been engineered for large data volume, that take into account the complexity of your company. And reason 3, you need to have a platform that innovate, continue to innovate to address your needs. So Odaseva, we have a platform. We have one release every month, so we fuel with innovations. And if you look at our platforms, you can see the 3 layers. The first one is a zero trust storage, which means like all the data you store in Odaseva cannot be viewed by Odaseva. We have a patented technology to encrypt the data that block Odaseva to be able to see the data. Then you have an enterprise architect as a service layers. This is a layer that understands your data model, understands the complexity, and is able to really use and understand Salesforce to extract it the best, to modify or to restore. And finally, on top of that, we have services. We have analytics, so be able to understand exactly what the platform is doing and how to manage your Salesforce applications. We have a Salesforce emulator to be able to emulate Salesforce, which is really useful when you want to archive the data, a query engine, and a data builder. So all of that have allowed us to create this application on top of it, the application for data protections, the application for data privacy, and the application for data agility. So that's really our solutions to all these challenges that we spoke previously. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a very quick demo of showing you what look like Odaseva. Now you can see on my screen the Odaseva platform. So here I'm going to show you the concept of applications, which is really important. You can see our 3 themes: agility, privacy, and protection. And for each of them, you have an application that we have created to address a need. That, for example, for backup requirement, for archiving, call archiving. If you go to privacy, you can see right of access, right to be forgotten, data lifecycle, sandbox anonymization to be able to anonymize your information in your sandbox. And finally, data agility to be able to replicate your data outside of Odaseva, or to be able to see the information in your sandbox to empower a developer to go faster. And with agility, you can even create your own data process, which is really powerful. So now let me show you as an example one data app, call archiving. So call archiving is going to be a suite of instructions to be able to archive the data that you want to archive for compliance, or because you want to clean your Salesforce organization, or because the data are obsolete. So here you can see we are going to back up the case, back up the attachment, back up the files, and then we are going to delete them. And what is really powerful here is you can customize all these different processes. You can add new step, you can modify existing step, you can really tailor it to what you are using in Salesforce. Of course, also, we have very powerful analytics on top of that to be able to manage these activities. The first one that we have is around what we call Salesforce Health. And Salesforce Health is really about understanding what is activity of the data activity of your Salesforce org in a central point of view. So you can see all the objects that has been created, deleted, and updated in your Salesforce org, and you can very easily deep dive and understand what's going on. But not only that, you can also see all the different governor limits to be sure that everything is going fine with your Salesforce. You are not going to any specific governor limit. And finally, you can also predict on all of these governor limits which one are going to hit, like for example, the data storage or API request or the number of bulk actions. But also any other governor limit, you can easily predict what is going to happen and if you are going to hit a roadblock. So that's really important that you have these analytics processes on top of it that you can really understand your Salesforce activity. But not only that. What also is really important is to understand the activity of your data platforms, what your data platform is doing, who is doing what on your data platforms, how many people are launching specific processes. And this is what you have here with Odaseva monitoring. You can understand all the activity, you can deep dive, you can specify a specific org and understand all the activity associated with the org. But not only that, you can also understand how many API are used by Odaseva. Control what is happening, what process is taking API activities. So again, it's all about understanding and be able to control what is happening. And finally, one of my favorites is to be able to understand who is logging into Odaseva, who have access to this platform that obviously can access your Salesforce org and your most important informations. So all of that is what we call the Odaseva platforms, and platforms where you have application pre-built, but also where you can create your own application, and where you have also an analytics module on top of it. So thank you for this, and now I will give back to Clémence.
Thank you, François. So for those of you that want to extend this conversation around data management and data platform strategy and how to deal when you're an architect or a member of a COE in a Salesforce enterprise, well, we're organizing an data innovation forum with some Salesforce architects and CTA at the end of the month. And there will be a lot of session around that, a lot of guest speakers from Salesforce, ISVs, and other partners. So feel free to join us. Now it's time for me to thank everyone for attending this session. Thank you, François, for helping us understand why a data platform strategy it could be a right fit. And thank you, App Innovation, for the organization of this webinar.